Hi, my name is Shalini, Sinanan, and welcome to another interactive session where we go through the paces, letting you know all about the rudiments of English language arts from the comfort of your home. Today we are looking at vocabulary in context. When we write, when we read, how do we know the meaning of words, and how can we figure out for ourselves what the meanings of words are without having a dictionary to thumb through every second of the way? So we are learning to use vocabulary in context, understanding the meaning of words, and by the end of this session we should explain what are context clues, recognize the different types of context clues, define unfamiliar words using context, and develop inferential skills by solving unknown words using context clues. So in other words, we're teaching you how to be a sleuth. So get your magnifying glasses ready and let's see how we can figure out the meaning of words. What are context clues? Context clues are hints found within a sentence, paragraph, or passage which help a reader to understand new or unfamiliar words. How do you know how to look for those hints? Let's go through. How do context clues help provide meaning? Context clues help to define a word based on the sentence in which the word is located. Writers leak information on the page, requiring detective work to discover word meanings. And this is where you come in and you try to be the best detective that you can by looking for those hints or words or signal words. Context clues are very helpful for learning new words and promote a better understanding of what is being read. Because you know, when you read, it's not just to know how to say the words, but you must understand what you are reading. And that's the basic part of what you get from reading, understanding. So let's look at the benefits of context clues. First of all, it increases your vocabulary. It helps you remain focused. It saves time in understanding a passage. Remember, I told you, you don't want to be thumbing through a dictionary every minute when you don't understand a word. You can just look for the signal word and understand the meaning of the word in the sentence. And it improves your ability to decipher words in context. So you become a better reader. You understand things in a better way when you understand how to read clearly and how to understand words in context. Let's go to the different types of context clues. Here's a mnemonic that you might like to learn. Ideas. I-D-E-A-S. In a previous lesson, I told you a mnemonic is a group of letters we put together to form a word so that we can better understand things and better learn facts knowing the mnemonic. It's easier for us to learn. So what does the I in ideas mean? The I stands for inference clues. The D stands for definition clues. The E stands for example clues, the A for antonym clues, and the S for synonym clues. So today we are going to look at 5 different types of context clues: inference clues, definition clues, example clues, antonym clues, and synonym clues. Don't get worried. As we go through each section, you will understand each type of clue, how they are used, and how you can define words using each type of clue. Do you have your magnifying glass ready? Let's look at the inference clue. With inference, sufficient clues are available in the sentence or sentences for the careful reader to conclude the meaning of the word. So this is where you come in, and you have to be a careful reader. The meaning is inferred from the general context or gist of the passage. So here's where your understanding comes in when you read, and you have to infer or make a good guess about what the word means based on the words in context in the sentence. Let's look at some examples. Due to severe lack of sleep and extreme nervousness, Billy's reply was incoherent. So here we are looking at the word incoherent and what it means. Do you know what the word incoherent means? Some of you may, some of you may not. But let's look at the sentence carefully. Due to severe lack of sleep and extreme nervousness, so two things are stated about Billy in this sentence. One, he did not sleep for very long. And two, he was extremely nervous. So, and it's due to these two things, his reply was incoherent. So if someone has lacked sleep and someone is nervous, they might not be able to answer in a precise manner as they would if they had complete sleep and if they were confident. So in this instance, if you had said that his reply did not make sense, then you are right. And the reason being a severe lack of sleep and nervousness would suggest this confusion. Let's look at another example. The sound of the guitar was amplified when it was connected to the speaker. What does the word amplified mean? Let's look at the sentence carefully. The sound of the guitar was amplified. So something is happening to the sound of the guitar. And that something happened when it was connected to a speaker. What happens when we connect something to a speaker? Yes, the sound increases. So amplified means increase in volume. And the reason being, when connected to the speaker, the guitar increases in volume. Let's try some inference clues. Harry found himself at the precipice, staring dizzily at the river below. Let's look at this sentence carefully. Harry is somewhere, he's at a precipice, and we want to know what the meaning of precipice is. We are not clear on what the meaning might be, but we have some clues that might help us. He is staring dizzily at the river below. So one, he's dizzy, and there's a river below, which suggests that he's on top somewhere. And if he's staring dizzily, it also suggests that he might be very high on top somewhere. So if you had answered that precipice might mean a cliff, then you're right. A precipice is a cliff. Harry is staring dizzily at the river below, shows he is high up on a cliff or a precipice. David was so famished that his mom gave him some hot soup at once. We may not know what the word famished means, but we could decipher the meaning based on the words in the sentence. So David is something, he's famished. What does that mean? And in the same breath, his mom gives him some hot soup. So she gives him something to eat, and she gave it to him at once. So why would you get food at once? Yes, because you're hungry, and famished means you're very hungry. So mom gave David some hot soup because he was so hungry or famished. Though he didn't talk with anyone, Shamid collaborated with others to complete the job. So here we have someone who doesn't talk much with people, but yet he collaborated with people to complete the job. So if he doesn't talk much with people, but yet he collaborated, it means that he worked together with them to get the job done. Shamid worked together with the other team members, or he collaborated to complete the job. So collaborated means work together. Isn't that easy? You too can look at sentences and figure out the meanings by inferring what is meant when you read it. Let's look at another example. Her affluent neighbors, not lacking in financial resources, had their own swimming pool in a massive house. What does the word affluent mean? In this sentence, we see that her neighbors are not lacking in financial resources, meaning that they have financial resources, and they own a swimming pool in a huge house, in a massive house. So people who have these things at their disposal, we can say that they are very rich. So if you decided that affluent meant wealthy or very rich, you're very correct. Her neighbors had a lot of finances, a pool and huge house. So they were wealthy or affluent. I hope you understand how to infer from this lesson. And when you read and you see clues that help you to infer what you're reading, it will make your reading that much better. Welcome back to another lesson on context clues. We are going to the other letter in the mnemonic, which is definition clues. For definition clues, the meaning of the word is explained in the sentence. So this one is a little bit simpler than the one we did previously, inference clues, where you had to infer the meaning based on what the author wrote. Here, you have signal words or hint words that help you figure out what the meaning of the word is. The definition is right there in the sentence for you. They give helpful hints or signal words in the sentence to show the meaning, and these include which means, that is, in other words, or the use of commas or dashes. Let's look at some examples. Police officers interrogate witnesses. That is, they ask them questions and try to get honest answers. What do we mean by the word interrogate? Are you seeing the signal words in that sentence? Yes. The hint is that is. So interrogate means what? That is, they ask them questions. So interrogate means to ask questions. The clue here was that is. Remember, you have to look for clues before and after the new word and try to predict or figure out the meaning. In this example, Ian received a scholarship at the end of his study, a grant or prize used to pay school fees. We want to know the meaning of the word scholarship. Are you seeing the signal word or hint that is helping us figure out what that meaning is? If you've guessed the comma after study, then you're absolutely right. Scholarship means a grant or prize to pay school fees. And the hint was the comma after the word study. Corona refers to the outermost part of the sun's atmosphere. We want to know what the meaning of the word corona is. And if you've decided that refers is the signal word that helps us know the meaning in this definition clue, then you are correct. Corona means the outermost part of the sun's atmosphere, and the signal word was refers. Remember, look before and after the new word to figure out the clues that are just there for you to figure out the meaning. Let's examine some definition clues, and let's see if you can figure out what the signal words are, what hints are there to help you figure out its meaning. In Greek mythology, legend or folklore, Medusa was a monster with living snakes for her hair. We want to know what the meaning of the word mythology is. What's the hint? Yes, the comma after mythology, legend or folklore. So the meaning of mythology is legend or folklore. The plane's bulkhead, that is, the curtain separating the plane's sections, was a thick, dark blue. We want to know what the meaning of the word bulkhead is. In reading the sentence from the comfort of your home, are you seeing the signal word? Yes, that is. So the meaning of bulkhead is the curtain separating the plane's sections. Definition clues are very easy, and you have to know the signal words or hints to look out for them. The sports day events are listed in chronological order, starting with the relay at the beginning and ending with the long jump. So, what do we mean by chronological? The hint there is the comma after order. Chronological, looking at the sentence, is a type of order from start to finish or beginning to end. The garage manager wanted a weekly inspection, which meant a complete examination of all the equipment. This one is as is. Are you reading the sentence on your own? What are the signal words? Which meant. So inspection means a complete examination of all the equipment. After the field trip, Harry was lethargic. That is, he had no energy to do anything. What does lethargic mean? The signal words? Yes, we saw it already. That is, he has no energy. So lethargic is when you have no energy. Sometimes you feel lazy when you're lethargic. The doctor's writing was utterly illegible, so no one could read the prescriptions he wrote. What is illegible? Yes, you know what it means? Yes. The hint there is the comma after illegible. No one could read the prescription, so illegible means you are unable to read it. Sedentary individuals, people who do not lead an active lifestyle, often have health problems. What does sedentary mean? If you look at the sentence, you will see a comma after the word individuals. That's the hint that tells you the meaning is coming right after. People who do not lead an active lifestyle. So the meaning of sedentary, people who do not lead an active lifestyle. Sally sauntered in the garden, strolling leisurely among the roses and other flowers. What does sauntered mean? Sally sauntered in the garden, strolling leisurely among the roses and other flowers. In that sentence, the meaning is right there. All you have to do is look for the meaning. She's in the garden and she's strolling leisurely among the roses. So, sauntered is a verb and strolling leisurely is the verb that actually means the same as sauntered. There's no actual hint word or signal word there to help us, but reading the sentence, you can see clearly that she sauntered in the garden and strolled leisurely. They mean the one and the same. So sauntered and strolling leisurely mean the same. We expected to be famished after the game, but we were not hungry at all. And we would have seen famished a little earlier on. We were not hungry at all. Hungry there has the same meaning as famished. Famished means we are very hungry. Our friends are reliable, so we can depend on them to come for us. What does reliable mean? Are you seeing the hint? Yes. The comma after reliable tells us that the meaning is coming right after. Reliable people are people we can depend on. Thank you so much for listening to this lesson on definition clues, and I hope that you understand what definition clues are, how to look for your hints or signal words, and how to figure out or predict the meaning of words in a sentence using definition clues. Welcome back to another great lesson on context clues. Today we are looking at vocabulary in context, and the type of context clues we're going to look at are example clues. An example of the word is given following the sentence or within the sentence, and these are how example clues are figured out. Helpful hints in the sentence include the following words. Pay attention to these signal words or helpful hints, like, including, for example, for instance, or such as. I'll repeat, like, including, for example, for instance, or such as. Let's look at some examples of example clues. One way to build your vocabulary is by studying homophones such as way and way. Now, you might not be able to know the precise meaning of the word, but you know you would have come up with the word at some time, seen the word at some time, and looking at the sentence, we see that the signal words are such as. So we know right away that examples of homophones are way and way, W-E-I-G-H and W-A-Y. Two words that sound the same, have different meanings, and are spelled differently. So then it clicks to you. These are homophones, way and way. Words that sound the same, have different spelling, and have different meanings. Government's expenditures like public health care facilities and education come from taxes. What are expenditures? What is there to help us know what the meaning of the word expenditures is? We see the signal word like, so we know examples are going to follow. Public health care facilities, like our hospitals and health centers, and education, our schools and teachers, come from taxes. So it has to do with money and how government spends money, because you know the government sees about the hospitals and the healthcare facilities and education at large. So these examples help us to figure out that expenditures mean money that is spent. Characteristics of your body, for example, your eye and skin color, are inherited from your parents. If you didn't know what the meaning of the word characteristics are, we know from this example, we have examples of characteristics of your body. For example, your eye and skin color. So these are traits that you have that belong to you, and in the sentence they say you get it from your parents. So characteristics are your features, and examples of your characteristics are your eye and skin color as seen in the sentence. Let's examine some example clues. The decor, including the paintings, furniture and rugs, makes the house look beautiful. What's the meaning of the word decor? The signal word in this sentence is including, and the examples are paintings, furniture, and rugs. And all of these things make the house look beautiful. So all of these things form part of your house. So we can interpret in this sentence that the decor means the furnishings of your house. New vehicles such as Toyota, Audi, and BMW are very expensive. The signal word here, do you see it? Yes, such as. So vehicles such as Toyota, Audi, and BMW are very expensive. So we can interpret here that Toyota, Audi, and BMW are different types of, yes, you have it right, vehicles. Animals enjoy feeding on vegetation, including grass, leaves, plants, and shrubs. What is the meaning of the word vegetation? The signal word, including, and the examples that follow, grass, leaves, plants, and shrubs. So we can infer here that vegetation are different kinds of plants which animals eat or feed on. During the wedding, beverages such as juice, tea, and coffee were served. The signal word, yes, such as. The examples, juice, tea, and coffee. We want to know the meaning of the word beverages, and we have examples. So we can infer here that beverages are types of drinks. The farmer planted many crops, for instance, peas, tomatoes, dasheen, throughout his garden. We want to know the meaning of the word crops. The signal words, for instance, the examples, peas, tomatoes, and dasheen, all plants that give us food when they are reaped. So we can infer here that crops are plants that we can reap. Thank you so much for listening to this lesson on example clues. I hope that you remember some of the signal words and look out for those examples in the sentences so you too can predict the meanings of words using example clues. Welcome back to another beautiful lesson on context clues. Now we are going to look at antonym clues. What are antonym clues? The meaning of the word is clarified by giving the opposite meaning in the sentence. And in your work at school, you will know that antonyms are opposites. So here, in an antonym clue, the meaning of the word is clarified or known by giving the opposite meaning in the sentence. Helpful hints, and I want you to pay careful attention to these helpful hints or signal words. They signal to you when the antonym is going to come. Although, however, but, instead of, on the other hand, yet, or in contrast. Although, however, but, instead of, on the other hand, yet, or in contrast. Let's look at some examples of antonym clues. The pupils of the eye contract in bright light, but they dilate when it grows darker. What's the meaning of the word contract? Here, let's look for the signal word. Do you see it? Yes, it's but. So, the opposite of contract is which word? Dilate. The pupils of the eye contract in bright light, but they dilate when it grows darker. Dilate means to get larger. So, contract would mean, yes, to get smaller. Contract means to get smaller, and the hint was the antonym clue used was dilate, which means to get larger. The husband was a lively conversationalist, but his wife was an introverted lady. Isn't it nice to have it the other way around here? So, what does introverted mean? What's the signal word? In this sentence, we are hearing that the husband is one way and the wife is another way. She's an introvert and he's a lively conversationalist. The signal word was but. So we know that these two expressions are opposite in meaning, lively conversationalist and introverted. Looking at lively conversationalist, we know that he is quite talkative. So we can infer that introverted means she's a quiet person. So introverted means quiet or not talkative, and the hint was the husband is a lively conversationalist, which means that he is quite talkative. Here are some other examples of antonym clues. Unlike my room, which was immaculate, my brother's room was a mess. So, one room is immaculate and another room is a mess. One is opposite to each other. And we know that being in a mess is being dirty. So obviously, immaculate would mean very tidy. I am a bit clumsy and awkward, but my best friend Savvy is lithe. What does lithe mean? In this sentence, one person is clumsy and awkward, but the signal word savvy is lithe. What's the opposite of clumsy or awkward? Did you guess graceful? Then you are absolutely correct. The feral dog would not let us play with him, unlike our friendly pet. So here we have a dog that wouldn't allow others to play with him, but we have a friendly pet who is unlike the feral dog. A friendly pet you will play with. A feral dog you wouldn't. So the opposite of feral dog would be the friendly pet. A friendly pet is a pet that you would have home, that you would have that is tamed. So we can concur here that feral means untamed or wild. Hannah is quiet and well behaved, but her brother is boisterous. So the signal word here is but, and siblings are opposite to each other in nature, which we find all the time, don't we? Hannah is quiet and well behaved, but her brother is boisterous. So the opposite of boisterous would be quiet and well behaved. What do you think boisterous means? Yes, he is very talkative and active. Instead of a grimace, she had a big smile on her face after the meeting. Instead of, the signal words, a grimace, she had a big smile. So the opposite of big smile would mean, yes, a frown. So here's where we go back over these examples just to go through with you how we look at the examples and figure out the opposites in the sentences in antonym clues. Unlike my room, which was immaculate, my brother's room was a mess. Immaculate means clean, tidy, and spotless, the opposite of mess. While exercising, I'm a bit inflexible and stiff, but my best friend Savvy is lithe. Lithe means flexible and active, graceful, the opposite of inflexible. The feral dog would not let us pet him, unlike our friendly pet. Feral means wild and ferocious, the opposite of tame and friendly. Hannah is quiet and well behaved, but her brother is boisterous. Boisterous means lively, energetic, and unruly, the opposite of well behaved. Instead of a grimace, she had a big smile on her face after the meeting. Grimace means to frown or scowl, the opposite of smiling. I do hope you understood the steps we went through with regard to antonyms clues in context clues. Look out for your opposites in your sentences and understand when the antonym clue and where the antonym clue is placed in your sentence so you can read and understand that much better using context clues. Hi and welcome back. Now we are going to look at the final letter in the acronym of IDEAS, synonym clues. We looked at inference clues, definition clues, example clues, antonym clues recently, and now we are going to look at synonym clues. What are synonym clues? This one is really easy to spot. Now let's look at how synonym clues are used in context. Synonyms are words with the same meaning. Most of us will know that already. Other words are used in a sentence which are similar in meaning to the unknown word, and this is how synonym clues are used. When we have an unknown word, synonyms are placed in the sentence, and this would give us an idea of what the word really means. Helpful hints include the use of or and the use of a comma after the word. Let's look at this example. Mom sterilizes or cleans my baby sister's bottle twice daily. Here, the unknown word for some of us might be sterilizes. The helpful hint is the word or. So sterilizes or cleans. So here we know right away that sterilize means clean. Other examples of synonym clues. There was a dispute over the game, and this was not the first time the team had argued over it. In reading the sentence, we know that there was a game, and in the game, there is a dispute. What does dispute mean? Also in the sentence, we see that it was not the first time the team had argued. So here, we can infer that dispute means to argue. Dispute is a synonym of the word argue. The journey was a tortuous one. It was winding and twisting through the mountains. Tortuous means winding and twisting. The comma after one indicates to us the synonyms are coming right after, winding and twisting. Let's look at some other examples. The food at the restaurant was so bland that my father described it as tasteless. Right away you see in this sentence that bland means tasteless. It was described this way by Dad. Mr. Harris is very affable, comma, no other teacher is as friendly as him. What's the meaning of the word affable? Do you see the synonym in the sentence? If you've guessed friendly, then you are right. Paul is compassionate, so he always demonstrates his concern for others. What's the meaning of the word compassionate? A virtue we must all possess. In the sentence, are you seeing the meaning of the word compassionate? Yes, it means showing concern for others. The burning heat from the intense rays of the sun scorched my skin. If you didn't know what scorched meant, reading the sentence, you see that the sun's rays were intense and the heat was burning. So we can infer that scorched means burning. When the power goes, we use a flashlight to light up the dark room. What do we mean by when the power goes? What happens when the power goes? Yes, it gets dark. So the synonym for the power goes really means the place gets dark. So here you have it. Synonym clues using sentences to figure out what the clues are, knowing what the hints are, and figuring out the meanings of sentences, understanding that some sentences have synonyms in them which help us figure out their meaning. And we have all our ideas pulled together, knowing what context clues are. Inference clues, definition clues, example clues, antonym clues, and synonym clues. Do you know how to find your clues? Let's look at some other examples and see how good you have gotten in figuring out your context clues. Look at the lines below and try to figure out the meaning of the word that is highlighted. A further problem affecting the water supply is pollution. This is caused by harmful chemicals and bacteria entering the water supply through the improper disposal of household and industrial waste. So in reading this passage, we want to figure out what the meaning of the word disposal is. We have some helpful hints within the passage that would help us infer the meaning and predict what's really happening. We have pollution happening, and you would have figured that out from the very beginning. The water supply is polluted. What makes the water supply polluted? Yes, it's caused by harmful chemicals and bacteria entering the water. How does it enter the water? From the disposal of household and industrial waste. So, we have the disposal of household and industrial waste happening, and this is causing pollution, which means that we are throwing away our garbage into the waterways, and this is causing the pollution. In the extract, disposal means getting rid or throwing away our waste in an unsuitable way, and the unsuitable way is what causes the pollution. Tigers are hunted for many reasons. People have long valued the famous striped skins. Although trading tiger skins is now illegal in most parts of the world, tiger pelts are worth around $10,000 on the black market. What's the meaning of the word black market, or the expression? Here are some of the hints that we have. Tigers have been long valued. Why have they been long valued? For their famous striped skins. And trading these skins is now illegal. The pelts are worth $10,000 on the black market. Trading illegally means buying the tigers via the black market. So if you figured out that black market means the illegal trading of tiger skins, then you are absolutely right. It was ocean blue with chrome wheels and an elaborate drawing of a rocket ship on the underside. Each time he pressed his face against the glass of the skate shop, he felt himself fall into that picture, and his dreams of riding the longboard became mixed up with dreams of interstellar travel. He wasn't just going to the mall, he was going to Mars, to Alpha Centauri, to anywhere in the galaxy he felt like. He was going to conquer the stars. Or he would have, anyway, if his dad weren't such a cheapskate. There's something about fathers that makes it impossible for them to understand skateboards. So this is a passage about skateboards, and reading it, you'll realize that there's a little boy who really wants to get a skateboard to use to travel the globe or travel the galaxy with. I don't know what you like to travel with, but this little boy in this passage wants that skateboard, and we have to figure out what cheapskate means. Does he get the skateboard at the end of the passage? No. Why? Because his dad is a cheapskate. Have you figured out what cheapskate means? It means that his dad is a bit of a stingy character and doesn't want to get the skateboard for him. So the hints are he was going to conquer the stars, or he would have anyway, meaning that he didn't get to conquer anything. There's something about fathers that makes it impossible for them to understand skateboards. So in it you understand that his dad didn't comprehend or didn't understand why it is he wanted a skateboard in the first place. And in the extract, the context clue shows that the dad didn't want to purchase the skateboard for the boy in the story. He felt his father was stingy and unwilling to spend his money, the meaning of cheapskate. So in these lessons, we hope that you would have understood how to use context clues clearly, the different types of context clues. Remember the mnemonic: ideas, inference clues, definition clues, example clues, antonym clues, and synonym clues. Know what types of clues you are reading, figure out how the clue is used, and figuring out the signal words in the sentence that will help you better understand what the author is trying to say without you having to go through page by page in a dictionary. So, when figuring out your context clues, remember, read the sentence with the unfamiliar word carefully, search for the signal words, whether it's a definition, a synonym, an antonym, an example, an inference, or the mood of the writer. If the meaning cannot be found in the same sentence with the unfamiliar word, read the sentence before or the one after. I hope that you would have thoroughly enjoyed these lessons on context clues, and you're looking forward to the other lessons that we have prepared for you. Thank you so much for viewing, and looking forward to being with you in the next lesson. Have a good day.